Jimmy and Nelson.
Jimmy and Nelson. I'm just gonna make sure. Okay, we are okay. We are not mute. We're good. We're good. Let's see what they have in store for us.
So interesting. They are 5-1.
Is
So
that a
we have,
Vivi?
it is blue, red, Vivi.
And look at those Nami sleeves. Oh, it's first anniversary. Love it. UP Luffy against Vivi. Hello.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't seen this matchup in action actually at all. Despite Vivi making his debut in EVO3, I'm
Really?
assuming that the amount of pressure that Vivi can display, especially with those, the 7K swings onto the Luffy with the 5 cost Namis comboing from the 5 cost blockers, 5 cost blocker Vivi. We'll see how the aggression, how Jimmy has to deal with that sort of aggression. We have a dice roll 7 into a. Has he rolled the dice yet?
We can't see just yet. Maybe they've already picked it and we're waiting.
Seems like I'm gonna start the timer as soon as they. Boom. Okay, timer started now. Let's rock and roll. Ideally, what Vivi wants to see a couple of searches at the top. Now we do see that he.
So
Is so gone.
I was just going to say, totally agree. Vivi does want to see a couple of searches early on. Typically as well, this matchup is actually Vivi favored.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, as you mentioned, all the aggression that's coming out from either like all the 6K bodies you can play pretty early on, but then you've also got things like Charcapel, which have double attack and are 8K base, and you do have to play around that relatively awkwardly as UP Luffy.
Now there's a couple of deck types with Vivi. I mean, you can go more for the removal plays. A lot of people don't play the 7 cost Vivi. They replace it with they actually remove that and just replace it with on the 7th on curve they like to play the Ben Beckman.
Yes.
Just trash on. And that was very loud.
Completely agree, and I've definitely seen Ben Beckman get played relatively commonly in VV. It's also just such a good effect because it's just trash. It's not KO.
Yes.
It's just trash.
Yes.
And that definitely annoys a lot of people with like some kind of removal protection.
We're gonna pass it off over to our Luffy and the typical Don turn pass, and then boom, back to our VV player. Has 3 Don available. No searches as of yet.
No searches, but does have that Charcapel for later on in the game.
Yeah, going for a 7K swing. We'll have to just pitch out a 2K counter.
It is kind of greedy as well, because if like the UP Luffy did have like Thunder Bagua for some odd reason, it does get that ramp off, and then you're like, okay, well now I'm actually in a pretty bad spot. Like,
plays himself the Bon Clay. Yeah,
Bon Clay is such a good hit here as well. Like you're at 5 Don turn 2.
Does take the life from that 6K swing, and it is going to be a 5 cost VV. Exactly what I want to see. Is that going to be a VV searcher? Now, turn 5, ideally, you want to go VV blocker into the Nami. Let's see if he ends up pulling that combo off. I do see. Here we go. 5 into. Not the Nami that we wanted to see.
It's not what we expected, but it's still Nami, and it is still a good Nami. It's draw 3, put 2 on top or bottom.
Yeah, it's great to like, and also Vivi. If you don't, for the people that don't know at home, if you were to play a character, of if you were to play a character that doesn't have a when attacking,
correct,
you're able to do give a rush. So exactly that, resting that leader and minusing 5,000.
I do like this as well because Vivi also offers some inherent KO protection by discarding a card for a card with 6,000 power or more. So having a rested Nami is not an issue. If Jimmy decides to attack into it, Nelson's like, sure, I'll just discard a card, keep it alive. And that's going to force you to remove a card from hand every turn until you start playing Rogers.
Yeah, exactly right. We're going to go for contemplating with. Yep, he's going to use the Bon Clay to go for a fish swing first. We'll be able to swing 6,000 into a lead. We'll have to pitch out just a 1K counter and a 2K counter, and does exactly that, pitching out the Inagram. Is it Inagram? No.
No, that's, I believe, Terracotta.
Terracotta.
So that's the one that makes all Alabaster Kingdoms unblockable.
That's right. Yeah, Terracotta 2K, and then playing himself the 7-cost Charlotte Linlin, younger Linlin, Rocks Pirate Linlin.
This is some of the new support the deck got in EBO3. It's just a nice, decent ramp card, and on top of that as well, when it dies, you can actually heal. So it gives, it's kind of like the old 9-cost Big Mum, but making it a bit more balanced by not doing it on play. It's on KO.
The nerfed version, going over to the 9 Don. Oh, sorry. The 7th
7th
Don
turn, so
play,
you
yeah.
can't play the Sharkapel just yet, which is fine.
Dare I say that he has the Ben Beckman, goes for a 6 into the 1. Yep. Does he have Ben Beckman? Will be swinging, sorry, minus 2,000.
Yep.
Yep, it's going to be the Ben Beckman, right? Boom, and there you go. Pop
And
goes the Weasel.
as we said, it gets around that whole KO effect of Big Mum, so now it's just trashed, so she doesn't get her effect, which is perfect. Like, that is why VVs are running Ben Beckman. Like, removing anything up to, 9,000 power on board, pretty good.
Going for his first observational Haki leader ability, getting himself a 9-cost Sanji. The thing is, does he actually have anything to play on top of that? He does get himself a pudding for this. And is that a Jozu? I believe that it might be a Jozu.
Ooh, I thought
Was
there
that
was a
Jozu?
Nami.
Was it a Nami?
But
I don't know. We'll see how we go.
well, he's probably playing the Sanji this turn, so let's find out, you know? But this is where, like, UP Luffy starts to shine, I believe, is that
One. That's True Life.
True
Yeah,
Life now?
Yeah,
Yep.
True Life, yeah.
But this is where UP Luffy starts to shine. Once you get to that 8 Don and you start activating the effect every single turn, a lot of decks can't keep up with the hand advantage it generates, especially if they're playing big bodies like Sanji and anything played off Sanji, basically. But Vivi is one of the few exceptions because she plays a lot of blockers, and those blockers stick around for the effect of by discarding a single card. So you can kind of withstand the UP Luffy massive wave of power that's coming towards you, and you just chip him away with 6s, 7s, 8s, and you're not super fast.
Yeah, goes for a blocker, discards the Searcher VV in order to have it remain on the field, goes for the boom, and it's gonna be it's the Mihawk. Will be able to bounce back. That Ben Beckman to the bottom of the deck.
That is a good hit. That's gonna stop some pressure coming from Nelson this turn. However, I feel like we saw Nelson have a Chaka and Pal really early on, and I think this is going to be a really good turn to be able to play it. Because if you can chip Jimmy down to 0 life when he's not fully prepared for it.
Yes, he does have the Chaka Pal. Also, he has another option using the Rayleigh to put, like, I guess I love putting Rayleigh into VV personally. Great deal to just, with ball removal and even reducing power just to
even just using it just for the power reduction and effectively treating it as I'm going to gain 5k counter.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we see the Chaka and Pal, it's going to be just draw to and then give it rush and then just try and hit face for, I think it's 10,000 power or 9,000 power.
9,000 power using the Gum Gum Giant possibly here. No, it goes for the gear to plus 3,000. That's the 9th. There needs to be one more. Question is, what is he going to do? And it is going to be the Charlotte Lin going up to 10. We'll be passing turn over that.
But that Chaka and Pal is going to represent a massive threat every single turn from now on.
Yes.
Like Jimmy, 2 life is not 2 life anymore. It's now just 1 life.
In saying that, we did just see a glimpse. Jimmy got very lucky. He has 2 Red Rocks available.
Oh my lord, and a Roger.
So that Chaka may be, protected from on KO, like being KO'd, but it is not protected from being bounced back to the bottom of the deck.
Correct. Vivi typically doesn't run too much protection removal, but he's adding that Usohachi, setting it up, and also being a bit sly on just like, I'm going to draw this Red Rock off it, and you don't know what's coming now.
Naughty. Oh my gosh.
Because if Jimmy just starts attacking with his board, and then he goes like, Red Rock on the last thing, and then play something else, you're like, wait, I didn't expect that. What's going on?
Oh man, 2 Red Rocks. I mean, look, you can bring out the bigger bodies as you want, but Nelson, mate, I'm ready and lock and loaded, prepared for anything that you put through onto the board. And here we go, finally starting his turn. Refreshing, drawing. Let's see what he gets. Obviously, the Red Rock. Let's go for a few fish swings first, I reckon. Or dare I say, play the pudding.
Honestly, like, the card's getting banned for a reason. You might as well rip it whilst you have it, right? Like,
the amount of cards he has in it, I think if he's got 6 or 7 cards in, don't look at me like that. It's going to be the Roger, thank goodness. All right.
Roger, I still like this play here. Just going to make that Chakra and Pal slightly worse.
Yeah.
And also gives you just another massive body on board to get pressure against VV.
Going for an AK swing using the... Is that I want to be part of your crew still or something like that?
Something like that. It's an old card. But as you can see, he's just doing the classic VV game plan. I can block, protect it, and then just move on with my turn.
With only 1 Don, 2 Dons still available. He does have a Gum Gum Giant as well as a couple of characters. Oh, I think that is, 1 Gum Gum Giant and...
A couple of 2k counters. He's added an Usohachi. I see a couple Red Rocks. And the Shanks, the classic Shanks. This is also why the matchup is pretty good for Vivi, because alongside with Vivi's skill as well, Shanks hits 12,000 power. That hits everything in the game except Roger.
And the one thing is the maximum power that UP Luffy runs is actually just 10 max.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's really handy for it. And also, Nelson's doing a really nice play here where he swung Shanks into the board to try and reduce even further cards from Jimmy's hand or reduce the amount of pressure coming towards him. If he can keep UP Luffy at like 2 cards on board, those 2 blockers he's played earlier are just going to stick around forever, and there's nothing Jimmy can do to ever hit him again.
He's got, and from that first, so she ends up getting himself another 2 red blocks and also a Roger promo. But you know what's missing with that combo? The 9-cost Sanji.
Adding a red rock here, I mean, I think he has to. He has to get rid of that Shanks, right? There's not many options available to Jimmy at this point in time. But let's have a look to see if he does actually just use that red rock, because maybe he's just going to hold it and pitch it off Gum Gum Giant and try and put a bit more pressure on. But really, with those blockers, I think he just has to red rock.
Yeah, here we go. Red rock, boom. Bottom deck that Shanks. Get out of here. We'll be able to swing with 2 swings using both the monkey, the leader, as well as the Mihawk. We'll go for a fish swing first. Has 2 blocks of L. Does take life.
He does take it. That's kind of interesting. Because we know Jimmy does have an Uso Hachi in hand, so maybe there's a chance he can try and like go for game next turn with it.
We have to get rid. That's going to be it.
Oh, there's 2 blockers though.
2
so
blockers.
Unlikely, yeah. But
crashing that Rayleigh. The brick becomes useful, passing the turn over to Nelson. Let's see how it goes. He ends up drawing another Rayleigh.
Rayleigh's not bad here. Making Mihawk 6,000 power and then swinging into it with Rush.
That's pretty good. I'm just trying to think. So let's see what he does. Minus 3,000. If he does, let's see Vivi first. So minus 2,000 is down to 7. Minus 3. Play Rayleigh 4,000. Oh, if only he had the red 5-cost Nami.
Yes.
Because if he did minus that, he'll be able to pop it with the on playability for Rayleigh.
That's crazy to think about though. Like,
there's
so much removal.
Minus 3.
Yep, and then give it rush, reduce it, and then you can just swing into it and just keep UP Luffy's board empty.
Yeah, 8 into a 7. So yeah, 8 into a 7.
It's also.
Oh no, 8 into 6. Sorry, yeah, 8, yeah. My apologies. Yeah.
Into 4 because of
because
Rayleigh next 3 and Vivi next 2.
Yeah, my apologies. Yep.
And then Chakra Impel. As I said, this Chakra Impel is putting in so much work. I know it hasn't actually done any damage yet, but he's forced Jimmy to block with so many cards over the course of like 2 or 3 turns already.
He takes it.
And he takes 1. So he goes to 0.
You get another one, and it's gonna be a trigger. But the question is, what trigger can it possibly be? I think it might be. Dare I say maybe a red rock or a grav blade?
I mean, it's good to get rid of the Nami, but I don't know if it's enough. But yeah, if I was Nelson in this state, I wouldn't be too worried about the triggers that are appearing here. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I've got a pretty strong board. You're at 0. You've got no cards on board. So I'm not at risk of dying outside of like Secret Rare.
Oh, it's a red rock.
It is a red rock.
Bottom decking at least one of the blockers, which is great now.
He was going to use it, but I think he realized he can't use it on the Vivi because of costing a bit too much.
Yeah. Just by one.
Yep. And then what that means is like he can't play Usohachi to rest the Nami as well. But I think it's looking pretty rough for Jimmy at the moment. When you're entering your turn and you're on no life and got no board, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Decent amount of cards in hand. What can you possibly do? Like,
he does have a Nami blocker, so he can try and set up some future turns and somehow force another card out of Nelson's hand. But trying to get that last life is going to be the hard part.
You know what would be a really like punch in the face if Nelson ends up getting let's just say Gravity Blade.
Gravity Blade would be painful, but maybe that Terracotta we saw turn 1. Maybe if he draws another and it's just like, yeah, let's make Chakra Impel unblockable.
That is also true, yeah. Now I can see that they're all reds right now in his hand. I mean, he does have the Enneagram searcher, being able to search the top 5.
Yep, making your leader 0,000 power when it rests to give something rush is totally fine.
Swinging 7 into lead, we'll have to pitch out a 2 and a 1. Does have blockers still available as well as on top of that, the leader ability.
I think at this point you just kind of just block and discard a card and call it a day. You're not at risk of losing too much.
And it does exactly as you said. There is going to be, and passes the turn over to Jimmy. Let's see if he can top deck that terracotta. Ends up getting the Vivi instead.
Starting to do the maths on how exactly.
Oh,
Frankie!
Oh no! If you don't know what Frankie does, basically every single time if you activate an event, all of your characters gets plus 2,000 for that turn.
Goodbye, Gum Gum Giant, basically.
Oh, he's gonna do it. Wait, oh. Okay, a 2. Needs to produce 1 more.
That Frankie is such a good addition for this kind of turn.
It's great to have. I love a bit of spice on that. That's gonna be a 9 into lead. 9 into 6 has to pitch out 2
so many
2K
cards
counters.
he's just going to be ripping out of hand. And like he can block with a Nami, sure, but there's so many other Don on Nelson's board he can just Don up and swing.
Oh, absolutely diabolical with that. Oh, he has a double reader. I would double check it as well.
Is this actually a card?
Is this a thing?
Is this Frankie's first good card?
To be fair, I actually run this in my VV deck.
It's a good card.
It's great to have. Plus 2,000 to the rest of your. There we go. And there's Gum Gum Giant. It's going to be. He needs to provide another 2K counter here, or else it's going to be Jova. He does have a blocker. Unfortunately, he missed that counter phase already. Here we go. He draws 1. Oh, and another one. And he does have enough. So we'll be able to play another Gum Gum Giant from that. We'll have to pitch out another. Here we go. 2K. It has to be a 2K. 2 and 1 more. Boom. Thank you very much.
But having another Gum Gum Giant, you're like, oh, is that actually what I want?
He gives Frankie rush to really pitch out.
Comes in for 8,000 then.
Yeah, damn. That is insane. 8,000 into lead. I dare you. He goes, I dare you to give me another event. I dare you to give me another event. It's only once per turn, I know, but still.
I mean, look, you play Gum Gum Giant to get out of an attack, but you put 6,000 power on the opponent's board by playing that Gum Gum Giant. Like, that is a noticeable amount.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Jimmy's hand is very quickly dwindling this turn. He's got no life. He can't take anything. So if you're Nelson, do you just even don up like Nami?
I'm just trying to think. He's got a couple of 2K counters there. Because Nelson has to be quite careful.
He is at 1 life.
Yeah.
And we know Jimmy does run Uso Hachis. So there is a chance that if he just somehow lived without the Nami blocking, he could win off a Uso Hachi clapback.
How many Uso Hachis has he got? He's only got 1. He's got himself another Nami blocker. Hopefully he can get himself a, another Uso Hachi from that observation Haki effect. Still contemplating.
Yep. It's terrifying, like it's such a normal attack you would counter out of as a UP Luffy player, but you're like, can I afford to at this point? Like, do I block? Do I counter?
And he's gonna go for it. He's gonna go 9 into lead. We'll have to either use the blocker or use himself another Gum Gum Giant. However, if he does use the Gum Gum Giant, he won't be able to be on 8 Don as the requirement for his leader ability.
Yep. And also, I really like the play of attacking with Nami because Nelson knows Uso Hachi can't rest the Vivi. So if this Nami goes through, then it's game. If it gets blocked, he can't lose on the clapback. And he can't really lose on the clapback anyway. So it's looking pretty solid for Nelson. But if Nelson does have only bricks in hand, then yeah, he actually does still lose.
11 minutes on the clock. Just really thinking about this counter.
I mean, you have to give the players some credit. They played the first 4 turns each incredibly quickly, incredibly smoothly. And by doing that, they are at this position now where they can spend that tiny bit of extra time thinking their plays through and making sure that they're not going to run the risk of, like, hey, I accidentally forgot you had this effect on board and now I'm going to lose. Or truly trying to make sure, like, what's the best way I can live knowing that something else might be coming?
And he does use the blocker instead to get out of that, then passes the turn over to... Let's see if Jimmy can get lucky here. There is going to be the Uso Hachi, but I think it's a little too late.
Might be too little too late, sadly.
I mean, he did swing with a blocker, so I guess maybe he can still rest it, but I don't think it's going to matter as much, man.
Well, there's the Uso Hachi.
Like, but you tell me, is there any rush? I don't think there's any rush character that can...
Severcost Sanji.
I mean, can you imagine?
Back-to-back Sanji?
Oh, my.
That would be the most ridiculous win from this position.
Goes for a cheeky 6k fish swing. Goes for a 2k counter. Pretty much Jover at this point. There we go. 9 cost Sanji comboing into a Nami.
I don't hate it.
I think that's the only option he has.
Oh.
It's the only option that he has.
But yeah, playing a blocker, having some cards in hand to try and withstand the onslaught, but also that Frankie is just going to put on so much work this turn. Like, that Gum Gum Giant is going to give Nelson 10,000 power.
Here we go.
Yep.
Block with it. 10,000 into the lead. It's a 2-2 and a 1. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you got to be careful about ripping the Gum Gum Giant so early. But
there we go. It will...
I think you still have to just use it and then go to 10k and then counter out again further.
He has to at this point because, counter out of it, block yourself like a what? 18,000, 18k swing. If he swings with an army.
But yeah, as we saw, Vivi just had a tiny bit too much tempo pressure throughout the early parts of the game. And that chakra and power was, as I said, double attack into a 3-life leader. You're a 2-life leader then.
Absolute menace.
That's crazy. And then Nelson was able to draw a lot of really good cards on curve to handle what UP Luffy was throwing out. Like, if that Roger was able to stick around, this would be a completely different game. But because it didn't, because Nelson just had a 10-cost Shanks to immediately answer it, Jimmy's just really struggled to find a way to get any of his big bodies to stay on the board.
Oh, he uses a 5-cost Nami blocker, get out of that, and then it's going to be the 8k swing. Has to pitch out a 2 and a 1. Will have to use the Gum Gum Giant, trashes the Nami. Returns to 2, Don gets himself 2 more cards. It is going to be a 10k swing.
Is that another giant he drew? Oh, no. It was a Zora Jura. But yeah, and then you just swing big. 8k with Frankie.
GG's. Jimmy, man, that Frankie came in and just like, you know what? I'm going to add a bit more pressure onto you, mate.
You know what, Bandai? This sounds like we need a Frankie leader. All I'm saying.